Okay, today we're going to be talking about surface area of pyramids. So we talked about surface area in the last lesson. This is where we add up all sides of a three-dimensional shape in order to cover all of our areas. So like with the rectangular prism, again, we had 6 different sides, right? Pyramids, it's going to be different. It all depends on the base, and that's going to be the most important thing. You may want to add that to your notes. When finding the surface area or volume of a pyramid, the most important thing is that we look at the base. The base determines everything, okay? So like in volume, we had to find the base because it was base times height, and what was the last part for the formula of a volume of a pyramid? Divided by 3. You could only find the base when you find the area of the bottom shape. And remember, pyramids have what shapes can be at the base of a pyramid? Who can raise your hand? Give me one example. Alex, give me one example. Triangle? A rectangle?
Quadrilateral.
Okay, well, she said rectangle, so give me the other one. She said rectangle. What's the other quadrilateral? Square. Okay, so it all depends on the base of the pyramid. Okay, when we find the surface area, you guys need to make sure, one, we find the area of the base because that's added to it, and then we find the area of all the sides of the pyramid. Anybody remember what the vocab is for a side of a pyramid? What is that called? No. Close. That's the second half. There's a first one. It is a face, but remember it's a what? Lateral face. With this, there's a difference. These, yes, you were right. These are faces of a three-dimensional shape. With a pyramid, it's called a lateral face because it goes laterally. So, there are different lateral faces of a pyramid, and it all depends on the base, right? If it's a quadrilateral at the base, how many lateral faces does that pyramid have, ladies and gentlemen?
3.
Quadrilateral base. How many sides? Let me rephrase that. How many sides of a pyramid would there be if the base is a square or rectangle?
4.
Okay, now let's use it. Vocabulary. If the base of a pyramid is a quadrilateral, meaning a square or a rectangle, how many lateral faces, meaning sides, of that pyramid are there, ladies and gentlemen? 4. Now, depending on if that's a square or a rectangle, will determine what type of triangles those are on the side, and I'll get that into that later. If the base is a triangle, if the base of a pyramid is a triangle, or a triangular base, how many lateral faces will that pyramid have? 3. There we go. And there are rules to this. So we're going to start off with quadrilateral bases first, okay? And we talked about lateral faces, total surface area. Let's talk about pyramids with a quadrilateral base. That means it's either a square or a rectangle, okay? We're going to start off with one that's a rectangle. So, let's say for this example that my base is, 6, and this is 5, okay? 6 by 5. The very first thing you need to do, whether it's finding the volume or the surface area of a pyramid, is to find what the base equals. Since this is a quadrilateral base, it's just base times height, right?
Yeah.
So what's 5 times 6, everybody?
30.
So the base of this pyramid is 30. Right off the bat, okay? So, remember, we have to dissect our pyramid. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my pyramid dissected over here. This is a quadrilateral base, so a rectangle, not exactly a square, but a rectangle. And remember, if I dissect it, each side has a pyramid, or a triangle coming off of it to form a pyramid. We already said that this was a 5 by 6, right? 5 by 6, okay? When the base is a quadrilateral, this should be in your notes, when the base of a pyramid is a quadrilateral, you are guaranteed to have at least 2 pairs of triangles that are the same, or lateral faces that are the same. So if I notice over here, this side, if this side's 5 down here, what's this side up here? Right here, what should that be? 5. And then what would be the other missing length, ladies and gentlemen? Okay. Now, this is why these would be this. So this triangle here and this triangle here are going to be the same. And I'll explain why in a second. And then these 2 triangles up here and over here are going to be the same. The reason why is now I have to introduce a new concept. There's something called slant height. It's called slant height. Let me go to the portion where it is. Slant height deals with the height of the sides or the lateral faces, okay? Remember, when a pyramid gets folded up together, all sides meet at a point where, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, if you have that part of the pyramid, if you draw or drill a hole straight through the top of a pyramid all the way to the bottom of the base, where is that going to land in the bottom of the base?
The square.
Directly in the middle, right? Directly in the middle. Pyramids all meet up at a vertex that is exactly in the middle of the base, meaning that every single side's slant height is the same. So if you find out the slant height of one of the faces, all of them have the same slant height. Because if they did not meet up at the same point, your pyramid would be off-center and it would look weird and it wouldn't be a pyramid. It'd be a complete nightmare. It'd be a mess. A pyramid, by rule, has to have the sides meet at the top, at the direct middle of the base. This is why when we study ancient Egypt and they're like the pyramid, like you guys have been exposed to that, right? How like the pyramids, the tips, eventually the positions of certain pyramids line up with constellations directly above or below where the stars line up. It's a lot of science. You guys never heard that? YouTube that, because there's some weird theories where like when certain constellations pass through, certain stars line up directly with the pyramids. It's all science. Their whole thing was like ancient civilization was they did that on purpose because what are pyramids for in ancient Egypt? Anybody know? They're tombs, basically like a graveyard. They would bury their kings in a pyramid with their stuff because again they thought that that was them going to the afterlife. It was their way to go up to the afterlife with their things. The pyramid housed all of their stuff. Their family members, when they passed away, were also buried in that tomb. Mummies, so on and so forth. That was the rule. That was the theory. So a lot of math goes into this. So pyramids have to get right at the vertex. So each triangle will have the exact same height, no matter what. So let's say for this example, our slant height is 7, okay, for this example. That means all triangles here will have a height of 7. So these two blue ones are 6 by 7s, and these two orange ones are 5 by 7s, okay? We already said that the base was what? What's the area of the base?
30.
30. We don't have a measurement, but let's just keep it numbers. So 30. Now, you guys are going to find the area of the other 4 triangles. Now, I'm going to give you a hint. The formula for an area of a triangle is what, ladies and gentlemen? Base times height divided by 2. Don't divide by 2. Why do I not want you to divide by 2?
Because there's only one side.
No.
Because you want to find every single side.
Okay. Notice that this triangle here and this triangle here are the same. If I divide it by 2, I have to double it again later because there's 2 of them, right? So if I just do base times height for these triangles, that will give me the area for both triangles combined. So what is 6 times 7?
6 times 7 is 42.
Okay, so this one and this one together are 42, whatever the measurement is squared. Because remember, if I divide by 2, that means each one is 21, and then when I double it, they're both 42 anyway. So why am I going to take that extra step of dividing it by 2 and then multiplying it by 2? That's why I'm saying don't divide by 2 in this case. You're wasting your time. If the question asks you what is the area of one specific side, yeah, divide it by 2 so you know this is 21, this is 21. But together, they're 42. Then what would be the area of the other 2 triangles together? Remember, they're 5 by 7s. What would they be together, ladies and gentlemen?
35.
35. This side and this side together would make 35. Now, if I really wanted to find out what one of those triangles equals, I would do, again, base times height. 5 times 7 equals 35. Divide it by 2. That means each of these is 17.5. And again, if I double that, it's just going to be 35 again. So do you guys really want to take a step back and take the step forward and waste your lead or waste your time dividing by 2 just to multiply it back by 2? It's up to you. But remember, if you just do base times height, these partner triangles, they have another one that's equal to them. So you just find the 2. So my base is 30. These two orange triangles are 35, and these two blue triangles are 42. I'm going to add all of that together. 30 plus 35 plus 42 is 107. So the surface area or total surface area of this pyramid is 107, and whatever my measurement is, let's just say these were meters, and it would end in what, ladies and gentlemen?
Squared.
Squared, because it's what?
Area.
Area, and that would be my answer. So again, I just dissect each shape and find the area of each individual thing, and then I'm good. There are more rules to this, though. So again, with a quadrilateral base, you're guaranteed to have two partner triangles, for sure. Because the base here was a what, ladies and gentlemen? What type of base did we have here? What shape is this? That's not a square. It's a rectangle. Because remember, one side was 5, the other side was 6. For it to be a square, all sides need to be equal, right? So that's a rectangle. Notice that the front and the back triangles were the same, and the two side triangles were the same. It needs to stop. Now, let's do this. If the base of a pyramid, and you guys should be writing this in your notes, if the base of a pyramid is a square, all four lateral faces will be the same. So again, if the base of a pyramid is a square, all four lateral faces will be equal, or will be the same. Alan, you do not have permission to have your device open while I'm teaching. That needs to be closed. Only one person in this class does, and it's not you.
All four lateral faces what?
Will be the same or equal. Depends on which one you want to use. So remember, a square means all four sides are the same, right? If I dissect my pyramid, each side of that square is a base of a triangle, right? And each triangle has the same what, ladies and gentlemen, that we learned today? Each triangle, each lateral face has the same
Square height.
slant height,
Slant height.
or same height. So all these triangles will now have the same base, since this is a square, and will have the same slant height. So you got four equal lateral faces. In the last example, we didn't. Because remember, this side was 5, this side was 5, this side was 6, and this side was 6. It was a rectangle. So they partnered up. These two are the same, and then these two are the same. If all four sides of that base are equal, so say they are all equal 5, every single triangle now has the same base and has the same height. So all four triangles are the same triangle. Yes? That's because I divided it by 2 to find the area of 1. Because remember, the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. I didn't divide by 2 because there's 2 of the same ones, right? Why would I divide by 2 and then double it again? That's what I did. When dealing with quadrilateral bases, I would just leave it and know that those 2 are what equals that area. Okay? So, like, for example, let's say our height, let's pick a different height. Let's say, Ashmeet, give me a height. What should the height of this pyramid be? All right, you're going too hard. Give me a single digit. A different one. Okay, let's go with 8. Okay. Let's say the slant height of these lateral faces is 8, right? Each base is 5. So what's 5 times 8, ladies and gentlemen?
40.
Okay. So, Alex, just so you understand, I did 5 times 8 because I'm trying to find the area of this triangle right here, right? It's base times height and then divided by 2, right? If I divide it by 2, I'm going to have to double it again anyway later. Because guess what? This triangle right here is the same thing. So this is the example we did last time. So what's 5 times 8? Divided it by 2, what would the area of this triangle be? Okay, so if this is 20, this is also 20. What's 20 plus 20? Isn't that what I had originally before I divided by 2? So if you want to divide by 2 and then take the extra steps, that's fine with you. I just said if you do that, you have the area for both triangles. In this case, since the base is a square, guess what? All triangles are going to be 20. Okay? So what are all 4 triangles added together going to be, ladies and gentlemen?
80.
So all 4 triangles together are 80. What's the base of the square in the middle? What's the area of the base in the middle? This is a square.
80.
It's a 5 by 5 square. What is that?
80 squared.
It's 25. Again, this is a square. Base times height. So 80 plus 25 would give me 105. And whatever the measurement is, squared. I'm adding all the sides together to find the surface area. Olivia. Less than 7? Chapters. Because you had the volumes and stuff? The formulas, sorry. Yeah. I wouldn't just have everything in there. I would just do a formula page, to be honest. All right. So that covers quadrilateral bases. Now we run into the pyramids that have triangular bases. So when you have a triangle base pyramid, you have 3 lateral faces, right? So this is a deconstructed pyramid. This is a deconstructed triangular base pyramid, okay? There are rules in place with this that are not as easy as the other ones. So with the other ones, with a quadrilateral base, 2 sides, the 2 opposite sides were equal, right? Because with a quadrilateral, the 2 opposite sides are always equal. With a triangle, are all sides always equal, or 2 sides always equal with a triangle?
No.
No. So let me give you guys a different example. I'm going to start off with a hard one. I'm going to erase this. Our pyramid's base is a right triangle. Okay? That means there's a face here. There's a face here, and it's not going to be a pretty drawing, but it is what it is. And there's a face here. Now I got to move this because I'm all out of compliance. Okay. Let's say, for the sake of this example, that this height here is 8. This base right here is 5, and this slant line here is, let's say, 9. Now, we know for a fact that we need to find the area of the base triangle first, right? What is the base and the height of that triangle, and how do you know? What 2 numbers am I multiplying together first?
8 times 5.
Why?
Because the right angle.
Remember, the right angle points at the height and the base. Someone's out right now, so you gotta wait. So, I'm going to multiply 8 by 5, which will give me what, ladies and gentlemen?
40.
But, that's a triangle, and there's no other pair with that one, so I have to do what?
Divided by 3.
I'm finding the base. I'm finding the area of this triangle. This triangle. I'm finding the area of the base. I'm not dividing it by 3. I'm dividing it by what?
2.
2. So, if 8 times 5 is 40, divided by 2, what's the area of that base? 20. So, this here equals 20. And if I need to redraw this, this is the base. It's 20. Base equals 20. Okay? Now I have to find the area of each individual triangle side, but I'm still missing something in order to do that. What am I missing in order to solve this? There's one specific thing. What measurement am I missing? There's one specific thing that I'm missing, and that is the what?
Height. Width.
I'm missing the slant height. I'm missing the slant height because remember, even though this triangle here is clearly wider than this triangle here, they're all going to meet up at the middle. So they all have the same slant height, no matter what. Even if the sides are different, they will all have the same height. So let's say that the slant height is, I don't know, let's make it a little easier for us. Let's say it's 10, okay? We'll make it easy on this example. So every triangle on the sides has a height of 10, but each triangle has a different base, right? And each base is made up of the different sides of the base triangle. So let's start with this red one here. What are the measurements for this triangle? It's what by what? Okay, so what is the height? We all know the height. Ladies and gentlemen, what's the height of all 3 triangles? 10, because they all share a slant height, right? What's the base of that red triangle? 8, because it's already indicated right here. This side here is 8. So this triangle here is an 8 by 10 triangle. So it's 8 And we said the slant height was 10. This is a triangle, though, so I have to do base times height, which is 8 times 10, which is what, ladies and gentlemen? But I have to divide it by 2 now. The last time I didn't divide by 2 because it had a partner triangle, right? It had a triangle on the other side that was equal to it. Does it have another triangle that's equal to it, though? No, because these are all 3 different triangles now. So what's 80 divided by 2? So the area of this triangle here is 40. Okay, let's look at this one here, this green one. Height is what again, ladies and gentlemen? What's the base? Okay, so it's a 9 by 10. What's 9 times 10? What's half of 90? So this triangle has an area of 45. And then the bottom one, that's the height is 10. The base is what, ladies and gentlemen? 5. It's a 5 by 10.
25.
5's right here, guys. That's pointing at it. It's 5 by 10. That's 50. Half of 50 is? So, and then don't forget that this was 20 here in the middle. Do not forget to add the base to it. So now I've found the area of all 4 triangles. Add 40, 45, 25, and 20. I'm going to add them all together. We had 40, 45, 20, and 25. Therefore, my total area is 130, and it should be whatever the measurement is. We didn't give a measurement, so let's pick a measurement. Let's say it's centimeters. So this is what you guys need to write. Surface area, SA equals, or total surface area, equals 130, and we said it was centimeters. Ladies and gentlemen, the last part, squared. Please do not forget to add in this lettering here. You cannot just tell me it's 130 centimeters squared because I don't know what you're identifying. If you just add that, I don't know if that means that's just the area of the base or the area of one of the sides or whatever. You putting TSA or SA tells me that it's the surface area. Specifically, if you put TSA, that means I know it's all of the shapes added together. So I would definitely get in the habit of saying TSA instead of just SA, because total surface area means everything added together, and now I know exactly what you mean. Because remember, surface area could just mean the area of one of the surfaces, one of the faces. TSA means all of the sides added together. So I would do TSA equals, and then the number, the measurement, and make sure it's squared. And it's squared because it's what, ladies and gentlemen? Area. Okay, now let me give you something else to add into your notes, though. If the triangular base of a pyramid is an equilateral triangle, which means what, ladies and gentlemen?
All sides are the same.
All sides are the same. Thanks, Jaden. If the base of a the triangular base of a pyramid is an equilateral triangle, that means all 3 lateral faces are what, ladies and gentlemen? The same. They're all going to be equal. Because remember, they all are going to share the same slant height. And now that the bottom triangle base is an equilateral, meaning every single side is the same, every single one of those sides will have the same base. If the triangular base of a pyramid is an equilateral triangle, then all 3 lateral faces will be equal. If the triangular base of a pyramid is an equilateral triangle, then all 3 lateral faces will be equal. And remember, this is recorded, so if you didn't catch that, you can always rewatch this. So, that is something you need to pay attention to. And this is why it goes back to the beginning. It goes back to the lesson at the beginning. Always look at the base of your pyramid. Because one, what are you gonna identify right off the bat? First things first. We're gonna look at the base of our pyramid. What are you gonna know right off the bat? What's something you will know right off the bat if you look at the base of your pyramid? Think critically. No. What are you going to identify right off the bat if you look at the base of your pyramid? Shalom, think critically. Remember, you're doing surface area. You're getting close. I need to look at my base to indicate what? The base is going to tell me how many what, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, I lost you guys. The base indicates how many what? Kevin. Which is also what? Instead of sides, we call them what?
Lateral faces.
Lateral faces. Your base will tell you how many lateral faces you will have. Again, for it to be 4 lateral faces, the base has to be a what, ladies and gentlemen?
Square.
Square or
Quadrilateral.
or rectangle. It's got to be a quadrilateral. 4 lateral sides means the base is quadrilateral, which means it's a square or a rectangle. Now, if it's got 3 lateral sides, that means the base is a what, ladies and gentlemen?
Triangle.
Triangle. So, we have to look. Can we put the lock on, please? We have to look at the base first. Again, the base will tell us, if it's a quadrilateral base, the base will tell us if we have 4 equal sides or just 2 pairs. So again, here's your base. Okay, we have a quadrilateral base. This side is 10. This side is 8. Right off the bat, how many lateral faces are we going to have? Right off the bat. 4. Okay, are all 4 equal? How many are going to be equal? 2 what? 2 pairs are going to be equal. What 2 pairs are going to be equal? Okay, think critically. Think if the pyramid was staring you in the face. What 2 sides are equal?
The ones that are like vertical.
You're getting there. Okay, think more plain English language. You're looking at it. This is what side of it? The what? Okay, so if the front is a triangle, which of the other triangle is going to be the same?
The back.
And then what are the other ones?
Both the sides.
Both the sides are going to be the same. So remember that. If you have, so here's your pyramid. And it's not a pretty pyramid, but it is what it is. If you're looking at a pyramid that has a quadrilateral base, remember, the front and the back will always be equal, and the 2 sides will always be equal. This is only with quadrilateral base pyramids. Now, if that base is a square, then all 4 sides are equal. If that base is a rectangle, you are guaranteed that the front and the back and the 2 sides are equal. Those are the pairs of the triangles. Okay? Now, with a triangular base pyramid, again, you're going to have 3 sides, and determining what each of these lengths is will determine if you have 3 different sides, 2 different sides, whatever. It really depends on the measurements of that triangle. Here, you see indicated with these lines, all these 3 sides are what, ladies and gentlemen? Different. That means that all 3 lateral faces will also be different. Because this measurement and this measurement and this measurement are all 3 different. And remember, if you have an equilateral triangle at the bottom, meaning that all 3 sides are the same, that means that all 3 lateral faces will also be equal. They'll all be the same. Because remember, all lateral faces will have the same what, ladies and gentlemen? That's your last part of your quiz. All lateral faces will all have the same what?
Height.
Slant height.
You said or height.
It's gonna be technically with a pyramid. It's technically slant height because remember they're slanted. So all lateral faces, no matter what kind of pyramid it is, and this should probably be in your notes. All lateral faces, no matter what kind of pyramid it is, will have the same slant height. All lateral faces will have the same slant height, regardless of what type of pyramid it is. So it doesn't matter if it's a triangular base, square base, rectangular base. All lateral sides will have the same slant height. Are there any questions so far on how to find surface area of a pyramid? Okay, so again, the biggest rule is this. Figure out the base, okay? So, I'm going to tell you guys right now. Let me just explain one to you without even drawing it. You have a quadrilateral base pyramid. So right off the bat, I just gave you enough information. How many lateral sides? Okay. The base of that pyramid measures 7 by 9. What do you guys now know? Now that I said the base of that pyramid is 7 by 9. What type of base is that, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, it's a rectangular base. And remember, we already talked about rectangular bases. It's a 7 by 9. That means what with the lateral faces?
Multiply them.
Hang on. What does that mean for the lateral faces? Raise hands. And I want somebody I haven't heard from today. I already heard from you. We do this every day. We're not doing this dance. you have a quadrilateral base, and you guys already identified it was a rectangle because I said the measurements of the base were 7 by 9. What does this mean for the 4 lateral faces? What is the rule? Matthias?
Now be two equal.
2 equal pairs. What are those 2 equal pairs again, ladies and gentlemen? The front and the back, and the 2 sides. So these 2 here would be the same, and then these 2 here would be the same. And remember, all lateral faces share the same, ladies and gentlemen, slant height. So no matter whatever this is the same height, this is the same height, and this is the same height. So let's say the slant height, and I'll put SH for slant height, equals, I don't know, 11. That means these 2 triangles here are 7 by 11, and these 2 here are 9 by 11, and that was not intended. Let's change that number. Let's just say it's 9 now. There we go. That sounds better. So these are now 7 by 9s, and these are now 9 by 9s. Remember, I don't have to divide by 2 because I have the pairs, right? I have the pairs. So what's 7 times 9? Let's start with the red ones. What's 7 times 9, everybody? That means that this triangle and this triangle together are 63. What's... Oh, no. Sorry. Wrong ones. This triangle and this triangle together are 63. So we said 7 by 9s. Okay, what about the 9 by 9s? What's 9 times 9?
81.
That means these 2 together are 81. And what did we forget to add?
Slant height.
The base. We didn't do the base. What's 7 by 9, everybody? Okay. Now I have to add all of these together. Remember, this 81 represents this triangle and this triangle together. This 63 here represents this triangle and this triangle together. And the 63 there in the middle represents the base. All sides are accounted for now, and I'm going to add them all together. Let's start with the base, 63, plus 63 again for the other 2 triangles, plus 81. My total surface area is 207. Let's say this was inches, and it needs to be inches what, ladies and gentlemen? Squared. And I am done. So do not forget to find the base area and add it into it. And then again with triangles, it's going to be completely different depending on the lengths of each triangle. Let's look at the homework for an example. Numbers 1, what do we notice about numbers 1 and 2? What are the bases, ladies and gentlemen?
15 by 15.
Which makes it a?
Even quadrilateral.
An even quadrilateral? It's a square. It's a square.
Which is an even quadrilateral.
Nobody uses those words. Number 2, what do we know about the base? Somebody said it. Number 2, what do we notice about the base? It's a square. So both numbers 1 and 2, all lateral faces will be equal. Number 3, let's look at the base. The base is a what, ladies and gentlemen?
Triangle.
What do we notice about each of the 3 sides of that triangle?
Even.
They are each what?
Even.
Nope. I'm looking at specific numbers. You gotta stop yelling. Each of the 3 sides equals what, ladies and gentlemen? 6. Indicated right here. This side is 6. This side is 6. Look at this little arrow pointing at the... What number is that, ladies and gentlemen? 6. What are we missing here in order to find the area of that triangle, though?
The base.
We have the base. It's 6. What are we missing for that?
The height.
We're missing the height. But if you notice carefully right here, this question tells you the area of that triangle is this. So right off the bat, we know the area of this triangle is that. We don't even have to find the area of that triangle because the homework gave us that. What we need to do is find the area of all the 3 sides. But because our base is an equilateral, that means that all 3 sides are, ladies and gentlemen, equal. They're all going to be the same. What are the measurements for these triangles then? They're going to be 6 by what? What's the slant height? 9. They're all going to be 6 by 9s. In this case, yes, divide by 2 afterward because there's only 3 of them. There's not an even number, so I can't double them. What's 6 times 9 going to be, ladies and gentlemen? 6 times 9 is?
63.
54. But it's a triangle, so I have to do what? Divide it by 2. That means each triangle is 27 centimeters squared. But since there's 3 of them, I'm going to multiply it by 3. So the 3 triangles together equals 81 centimeters squared. What am I missing here?
Your height.
I'm missing the area of the base. What is the area of the base? The question already gave that to us. What is it, ladies and gentlemen?
15.6 centimeters.
So I'm going to add 15.6 to it. So my total surface area for number 3 should be 96.6 centimeters squared. Let's check the answer page. And it is. Make sure you read the question carefully because some of these say round to the nearest tenth if necessary. We didn't have to because it was only 1 decimal. You are in charge of doing all of the questions on the homework. And you guys are lucky because both bases for these examples are equilateral triangles and squares, which I think is unfair. It should be a little bit more challenging. You are doing numbers 1 through 6. It is not extra credit. It is all need to be done. I have not given a due date, so before anybody asks when it's due, there's no due date yet. Any other questions on how to find surface area before I stop the recording?
No, sir. I have a question about 4 6.
So homework, not the lesson specifically. Okay, so I'm going to stop the recording.